Welcome back to the channel. This is Trendy Storm and you are watching second and final part of What If Naruto and Hinata got banished after Sasuke Retrieval arc. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share and subscribe to this channel. Now wasting no more time, let's start the story.
Whistling, Samui remarked, "That's pretty impressive, even for a Jinchuriki." "Oh, that's nothing in comparison to what this boy has done," the Raikage remarked. As you can see, the boy and Zabuza apprentice became close later in the mission, despite his claim that he was unaware of her status at the time. After killing two mercenaries, he hurried to the bridge their client was constructing and defeated a Zabuza apprentice in combat who was posing as a hunter nin, sparing the Uchiha. The multimillionaire Gato, the owner of the Gato shipping company, then arrived with more than 200 mercenaries to double-cross Zabuza and eliminate the remaining survivors who were weak from combat after the Zabuza apprentice took a Chidori from Kakashi to save her master's life. In order to divert Kakashi's attention, the boys somehow convinced Zabuza to give his life in order to kill Gato. He saved the life of the Zabuza apprentice by healing the girl's chest wounds and then dealt with the other Gato men. He then deceived Kakashi once more by disposed of the hunter nin's body, earning the respect of the wave people, who named the bridge they built after him and declared him their national hero. "That is a terrible lot for a student who is almost straight out of the academy to pull," Yugito said, narrowing her eyes twice in combat. He deceived a Junin while using medical jutsu to save a life without the Junin's knowledge. Smirking, the Raikage remarked, "Oh, that is nothing. Pardon me for stating this, Raikage-sama, but are you certain that all of this information is accurate?" Karui asked. "It's a bit much for you to claim that the boy's transformation into the Toad Summoner, his victory over an A-rank missing nin, and the Ichibi's Jinchuriki in his freed form are all insignificant. There is a discrepancy here. You won't understand until you hear the rest," the Raikage said. "I admit that, given the current events, I was a little dubious about all of this." The boys' team vanished from the scopes once more following the wave mission, most likely to allow rumors about him to fade and prevent anyone from noticing him. However, all 9 of the rookie genin who graduated with him took the Chunin exams. When his team encountered Orochimaru in the second stage, the boy battled the Sannin and saved his teammates' lives, forcing him to escape but not before cursing the Uchiha. All 9 genin advanced to the preliminary round, while only 2 other Konoha teams, Sayuro, one from Sound and the other from Sunayuro, did. These 3 teams were all the children of the now deceased Kazekage, including the Ichibi's Jinchuriki in the preliminary battle. The boy proceeded to defeat the son of the head of the Inuzuka clan. He then vanished for a month, with the exception of 2 occasions when Gambunta himself dropped the boy off at the hospital 2 days prior to the exam finals and when he arrived just in time to prevent another Konoha genin from being killed by the Ichibi Jinchuriki Gaara, forcing him to flee. Yugito replied, "So he was being trained by the Sannin at this time, I take it, as well as Kakashi." The Raikage nodded his head and replied, "No, Kakashi actually said the boy wasn't worth his time and took the Uchiha to train personally in his own jutsu, the Chidori, while leaving the boy with a teacher who saw him as the Kyuubi instead of the Jinchuriki." The Killer Bee replied, "But that don't make sense. Does Kakashi suffer from incompetence?" With a sigh, the Raikage said, "I'm not sure. I only know that the boy vanquished the Hyuga prodigy, the Ichibi, and his Jinchuriki before heading out to retrieve Tsunade. There, he encountered Uchiha Itachi and Kisame Hoshigaki, who fled after Itachi physically and mentally tortured his brother after they defeated Kakashi and put him in a coma. Then, as the boy learned how to use the Rasengan, he and Jiraiya kept looking for Tsunade. After meeting Tsunade within a month, the boy learned the Rasengan and used it to save Tsunade's life from Orochimaru and Kabuto. His right-hand man Tsunade became the Godem Hokage and gave him the Shodem's necklace as a reward." "Very impressive," Yugito remarked. "According to the rumors I heard, the Rasengan is an A-rank assassination jutsu that took the Yondaime 3 years to create and Jiraiya a year to learn. However, if that were all true, what about Jiraiya? Where was he during this battle, and where was Shizune, Tsunade's constant companion? I recall the time we were dispatched to collect that debt, and I met them once." "Oh, they were there except for Tsunade poisoning Jiraiya to keep him from fighting, but he showed up with a disability, and her assistant Tsunade hurt herself to avoid fighting, but she also showed up with a disability," the Raikage said. "I don't know everything, but for some reason, Tsunade would have joined Orochimaru rather than Konoha. If it weren't for this boy, they were sent to Tea Country after Tsunade returned with them and healed Kakashi and Sasuke there. The boy killed Aoi Rokusho, a former rank missing nin who is now a Rain nin, harming the Raijin and thwarting a plot to overthrow the Tea Country's ruler." With a doubtful tone, Yugito remarked, "So he saved 2 countries, huh? That isn't really his most interesting adventure," the Raikage remarked. "As you can see, He and his team were sent on another mission to protect actress Yukie Fujikaze after that one. Killer Bee rubbed his hand on his chin and remarked, "He guarded Princess Foon, most impressive boon. Maybe I can ask him to introduce me soon." Yukie Fujikaze is actually a fake name. The Raikage declared her real name is Koyuki Kazuhana, and she is the niece of the man who killed her father, Dodo Kazuhana, and the only child of Sutetsu Kazuhana, the former king of Snow Country. In any case, after protecting her and returning to her homeland, the boy staged a coup and killed Dodo, winning the princesses and the nation's affection and making him another national hero. Yugito inquired, "You're implying that this boy is receiving unexpected political support by being sent on missions that instantly upgrade him? No one receives consecutive missions of that nature unless they have a valid reason." "I had the same thought, but I have a theory now," the Raikage said. "As you can see, the boy and Sandame had a grandfather-grandson bond because of the political clout he would have. I thought he wanted to make sure Konoha would never get rid of the boy." Samui replied, "But the mission to Tea and Snow would have been after the Sandame was dead, so why is he still getting missions that gave him political power?" According to the Raikage, Tsunade wants to protect him because she views him as the son she never had. Why else would she leave the Hokage's office and run away with him when the council decided to take advantage of the Uchiha's defection to either execute or banish the Hokage, despite the fact that he was not in charge of the mission and went against the Uchiha, taking Tuchidori to the chest and breaking his neck after being slammed head first into the ground by the Uchiha? According to Killer Bee, so he has regeneration from Kyuubi. What if I told you that none of the things I have told you are the reason I am so interested in this boy? The Raikage asked, grinning and placing both hands behind his head. I made all five of you blink and turn to face the Raikage. What if I told you that all of this pales in comparison to what is most interesting about this boy and the real reason I called you all here? Yugito responded, "If gaining the political favor of 3 countries does not impress you, then what does?" According to the Raikage, 4 actually Gaara, Suna's new Kazekage, cut all ties with Konoha because he respects Naruto so much, but that is unimportant. "Bro, are you stoned? Or do you even have a brain in that big cone?" Killer Bee asked as everyone gaped at him. He crossed his arm and said, "Because if what you said about the boy is accurate, Konoha is boned. What is so wonderful about this kid that everything else fails so I can go home?" "Oh, it's easy," the Raikage said. "The boy is the son of our feudal lord's sister, Kushina Uzumaki, and Minato Namikaze, the Yondaime Hokage of Konoha." The spy who overheard the boy and the feudal lord conversing also claims that Kyuubi gave the boy a bloodline that enables him to absorb other bloodlines. However, the boy's parents, his past actions, his potential bloodline, or even his ancestry are not the most fascinating aspects of him. The boy's status as Kyuubi's chosen mate is the most intriguing aspect. There was silence in the room when that word was spoken, but Yugito and Killer Bee both grabbed their heads and dropped to their knees. "I am going to kill that boy." Killer Bee heard, "I followed her for more than 4,000 years, but she consistently rejected me. Let me at him, let me at him. Take me to meet Kyuubi, we have so much girl talk to talk about." Yugito heard, "I assumed we were best friends, so how could she choose a partner without ever telling me?" Raikage inquired, "What is wrong?" "Hachibi wants to kill the boy and use his bones as a toy," Ayuro said. Killer Bee, massaging the boy's head. "He said Kyuubi should be his, so he is a little pissed." Everyone started to perspire when Yugito said, Nibi wants to meet Kyuubi. Apparently they're gossipers." The Raikage remarked, "Well, I guess you'll have to stay here and train your apprentices because I can't have you go and kill the boy because I want to try to get him to join the village. I'll take you to the feudal lord's castle, Yugito, and maybe we can persuade the boy to accompany us with Nibi's assistance." According to Yugito, "Yes, Raikage-sama. We depart tomorrow at dawn. Meet me at the south gates at sunrise." The Raikage said, "You're all fired." The Raikage thought, the next yellow flash with the Kyuubi at his control and his political backing. As they all bowed and departed, Kami is giving the boy to whoever can get him. Konoha were idiots. Because he was acting on instinct, Naruto could only do block, 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 block. During the time he had been learning Kenjutsu from Renji, he had discovered that Renji did not pull any strikes, but Naruto still experienced the phantom pains from the strikes to his arms, wrist, and ribs as well as his chest. After an hour of Naruto blocking him, Renji grinned and thought, "Not bad, kid, but let's see you handle this." Then, all he saw were blurs, and his sword was knocked away Naruto's side before he began to repeat the same line that Renji had made him say each time he lost the blade, but this time, Renji did not halt his attack and instead sliced him in the side, saying, "This is a fight, Naruto, not a little kid game. I will not stop my attacks on you even if you lose your weapon because an enemy will not stop." Naruto was kicked in the side as he leapt for the sword and swiftly rolled out of Renji's path. Renji was cutting him off every time Naruto tried to get around him for the blade, so he rolled left, faked right, and dodged a blow before raising the sword from a half-crouch to block it. Renji vanished from view, and Naruto scowled and uttered the words, "I can't see you," only to feel a blade against his neck. "You have good instincts, boy, but you still have too slow of a speed and reaction time," Renji said. Tsunade stated that she wanted to resume your ninjutsu training, so you will begin practicing today. However, I have a gift for you to help you improve your strength and speed. "You nearly killed me just to tell me you got a gift for me," Naruto said, blinking. Renji said, "Yes, I did," and let go of Naruto as he led Naruto out of the courtyard. He said, "Come." They soon entered a stockroom, and Renji said, "This is the castle armory." Heading toward the back of the room, he reached over and picked up what looked like a massive roll of black tape, saying, "Here it is." Naruto inquired, "What is that?" "This is something special that my clan created a long time ago," Renji said with a sly smile. "You are getting a unique gift because no one outside the clan has ever seen this stuff before, and you will also get to use it. These are magnetic weights. There are tiny, magnetized metal threads inside this seemingly ordinary binding that are affected by the magnetic forces in the atmosphere. Everything in Lightning Country is made of metal. In fact, the majority of people think that this metal is what causes our lightning storms, so they try to avoid it or dig it up and move away from their houses to prevent lightning strikes." "So why are you giving me this?" asked Naruto, attempting to electrocute me. "No, and that is the secret of these things," Renji exclaimed. Laughing, "They are completely neutral because they have been perfectly balanced, neither favorable nor unfavorable. They power the weights by absorbing the air's positive and negative particles. The more power they possess, the heavier the weights become. Therefore, the more you move, the heavier they are, and vice versa." "Grab it." "Then how do they help me?" inquired Naruto. "I don't understand." "All right," Renji said. "Let's say you run 10 laps at your maximum speed in 5 minutes without wearing these now. When you remove the weights, you will be running those 10 laps in about 4.5 minutes if you force yourself to complete them in 5 minutes. After rubbing his head, Naruto questioned, "So, how are these different from ordinary weights?" "From what I understand, wearing weight makes you heavier and slower, but removing them makes you faster. That's what happened with Fuzzy Brows, at least." Renji grinned and remarked, "That's true about regular weights, but what makes these weights unique is that they train your body to hit short bursts of speed rather than long-range speed attacks. The kind used in Kenjutsu for deadly blows like regular weights. These weights gradually increase your overall speed without overstretching your muscles. Instead, they train your muscles to work at a specific speed. When you are relaxed and ready, you push your body to attack, which will be deadly and unprepared for because the enemy will be accustomed to your working at that speed and won't be able to predict your actual speed. It's important to keep in mind that samurai use their armor as weights to increase their overall speed even more than they normally would. You will probably pick up some weights for your arms, legs, and chest to increase your overall speed, but since this appears to be normal binding, you can use it as normal binding for your arms, legs, and body, giving you a secret surprise that will allow you to use your true speed when you're standing calmly and waiting the enemy. Do you understand? This is for that quick draw thing I saw some of your men doing, right?" Naruto said after giving it some thought, where they simply vanish for a brief moment before reappearing as the target is destroyed. Renji replied, "Exactly, this is what trains our clan to use that attack." After examining it, Naruto remarked, "Nice, who would have guessed?" "Yeah, it is pretty cool," Renji said. "Now keep in mind that since my clan values this stuff so highly, you cannot discuss it with anyone." "I won't, I promise," and Naruto Uzumaki keeps his promises, Naruto said, briefly wearing a dejected expression. Renji remarked, "The promise with the Uchiha is one of those that sometimes cannot be fulfilled. People who don't want to be saved cannot be saved. After I demonstrate how to put this on, I'll give you a set of arm, leg, and chest armor to aid in your regular weight training until you obtain some real weights." A stomping sound was heard the following day as the sun rose over the Hokage monument, and one of the gate guards asked, "Hey, do you hear that?" The second guard replied, "Yeah, sounds like army or something." According to the first guard, "Alert the Anbu." About 20 minutes later, the walls were lined with ninja who were prepared to fight. When the first member of the army showed up, it was a fire temple guard, and Asuma said, "Don't attack." The other guard nods and rushes in to find an Anbu. They're the temple guards for the Fire Lords. They halted as they got closer to the village's walls, and the sound of stomping continued. A second group then came up the street, and Asuma leapt to his feet and yelled, "What's going on, Master Ryu?" as he went up to one of the temple guards. According to Ryu, The Fire Lord is approaching with all of his samurai guards as well as every temple guard from the Fire Temple. I would advise the Rokudame Hokage Jiraiya to order his men to disperse since he is not pleased right now and will probably have us destroy Konoha if your people are perceived as hostile. All of the ninja turned to stare at him as he stood in Hokage robes with the kanji for Rokudame on the back after Asuma blinked and Jiraiya's voice echoed. You heard him. Stand down now and prepare for the Fire Lord's arrival. Jiraiya responded. Everything will be explained later today. As everyone was wondering, where is Tsunade? Now, get ready for the Fire Lord's arrival. Otherwise, his men will kill us all. You might not be aware of it, but if he is bringing his whole samurai guard €1, that is, more than 1500 mina euro, along with the 120 Fire Temple guards from the 10 Fire Temples, he could easily destroy us if he decided to stand down, he said in a very authoritative voice. Jiraiya walked between the gate guards and waited as each ninja scowled and started to depart, leaving only a few stragglers and the guards at the gate. A few minutes later, hundreds of fully armored and armed samurai appeared in the distance, with the Fire Lord's mounted carriage in the center. They dispersed as the carriage came to a stop at the gates. Captains, go through the village and bring every man, woman, and child to the town center around the Hokage Tower for a meeting, the Fire Lord said as the carriage door opened and he emerged. Kill them if they resist. As 2 guards at the gate were replaced by 2 samurai, the samurai all started to pass Jiraiya, who was still standing there, and enter the village, giving the order for the 2 guards to proceed to the town center. The others started to move in circles around the village as half of them entered. I have much to ask Hokage and I demand answers, the Fire Lord said, giving Jiraiya a fierce look. Jiraiya replied, I have only come to power this morning when you arrived so you could witness my taking over and acknowledging the Godem final orders. The Fire Lord remarked, I know this and I will keep that in mind when I deal with you. But there are a lot of people in your village that I don't like, and I'm willing to kill them all if I'm not happy with the responses I get. Their life is forfeited if you or anyone else meddles. Jiraiya bowed and said, I understand. Good, said the Fire Lord, now lead me to your office. Ignoring everyone being led there under armed escort, the majority of whom are still in their nightwear, Jiraiya nods and guides him toward the Hokage Tower with the other Fire Temple guards. The Fire Lord declared, empty the Hokage Tower of everyone and do not let anyone in except Jiraiya and myself, despite the fact that there were already a number of people inside, including council members, ninja, and civilians. Kill them if they don't want to go. Should we? As the Fire Lord threatened to kill them if they attempted to enter, Jiraiya's face remained neutral in the face of the shocked council members present. Jiraiya then led him to the Hokage office, where he unlocked the doors and remarked, Tsunade wanted to ensure no one entered between the time she left and I took over. Without saying anything, the Fire Lord approached, took a seat in the Hokage chair, and declared, I am very displeased in your village, Jiraiya. According to Jiraiya, so am I, sir. All right, then there is hope for this village, the Fire Lord said. We're waiting now. When everyone had gathered an hour later, the Fire Lord emerged onto the Hokage Tower's balcony, surveyed the crowd below, and declared, as you can all see, I have called a meeting. Before I start, be aware that my men have orders and that anyone who tries to stop me or oppose them will be killed right away. I will demand answers because the people of Konoha have a lot to answer for. Where are the council members now? I want every member of the council to move to the front of the crowd so I can see everyone and get my answers. When everyone reached the front, the Fire Lord remarked, good, I see you can follow orders from your superiors. The shocked members of the crowd started to move to make room for the council members, and they started to appear afraid. As you can all see, Tsunade Senju is currently absent. She gave her 2 weeks' notice due to recent council actions, designating Jiraiya as her replacement following multiple final rulings. First, I would like to know why the council felt they could use my name and position to threaten the execution of a Konoha ninja if the village leader refused to expel the ninja. This made a number of people gasp. We didn't threaten the Godem, Kaharu stated. We only said that the village lost the last Uchiha as a result of his actions and that her obvious favoritism to a threat to the village could not continue. Really, the Fire Lord said. According to all the reports I've read, Uchiha left the village alone after knocking out his female teammate who attempted to prevent him from joining 4 Junin-level ninja who were Orochimaru's personal bodyguards. Not only did he refuse to help the recovery team, but he also went to Orochimaru alone while the others were fighting and dying, killing 4 Chunin who were returning to the village and almost killing 5 Genin and 1 Chunin. Tell me exactly how it was the boy's fault. According to the reports I read, the one you banished managed to catch up to the Uchiha, who then fought him, driving 2 assassination-level jutsu into the boy's chest and almost breaking his neck, leaving the boy for dead as he continued on to Orochimaru. Why did you hold him responsible for Uchiha's actions when he wasn't the mission's team leader? Why did you threaten to have him put to death or exiled when he was fighting for his life in a coma? Since the council had prohibited any information regarding the mission to recover the Uchiha, many were taken aback. According to the law established by the Naidame Hokage, any shinobi who fails a mission that puts the village in danger during a time of war like the one we are currently in may be executed or exiled, depending on the Hokage's decision. Hamaru stated the village is in danger if the Uchiha are lost to an enemy. Really, the Fire Lord said, why isn't Sasuke Uchiha listed in the bingo book for treason? After all, if my memory serves me correctly, going to the enemy during a time of war is treason regardless. I will post a $1 million bounty on the head of Uchiha, dead or alive, for all the headaches he has caused me, causing multiple people to yell out. As the Fire Lord yelled, kill them, several of the yelling individuals, including 2 council members, were abruptly slain by swords or knives, shocking everyone. The Fire Lord declared, I trust there will be no further outburst like that, or I will simply stop this trial and kill everyone in the village and burn it down. After everyone had fallen silent and a few had started to cry. In an attempt to exert control, Danzo said, if I may ask Fire Lord Sama, why are you so hostile toward our village over a matter that does not concern you? The Fire Lord replied, that is where you are wrong, council member. The council made it my concern when you used my name and office when you were dealing with your own matters. Now the situation has gotten so far out of hand that 6 countries have cut off all dealings with the Fire Country, and I am losing around $6 million a week thanks to you. I have even received threats of war on not just Konoha but the entire Fire Country because of you bringing me into this matter. Wind Country, Spring Country, Wave Country, Tea Country, Lightning Country and Rice Field Country are all calling for the total destruction of Konoha. In fact, the Lightning Feudal Lord has issued a $25,000 reward for each of the civilian council members' head, a $500,000 for Danzo, Kaharu, and Hamaru head. Then he also has issued $5,000 on over 600 citizens of Konoha for attacks on his family. Hiyashi responded, excuse me Fire Sama, but I am not aware of any Konoha citizen attacking any member of Lightning Sama family. The Fire Lord replied, that is where you are wrong. I have read the Anbu reports of the matter myself. Perhaps I should tell you the name of the Lightning Lord. His name is Ichigo Uzumaki, brother to Kushina Uzumaki Namikaze and uncle to Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze, the only child of the Yondaime Hokage of Konoha, causing many to gasp. A civilian replied, there is no way the demon brat is the son of the Yondaime, besides, he was never married. Jiraiya chuckled and said, actually he was married 2 years before the Kyuubi attack, and Naruto is Minato's son. Why else would he have chosen him for such a heavy burden that you all have hated and persecuted him for? I see most of the younger generation is confused as to what we are speaking, so I will tell the truth of what happened the night the Kyuubi attacked. The Yondaime was the strongest ninja ever, but there was no way he could kill the Kyuubi. Anyone who fought the Kyuubi that night could tell you how strong it was and how many died trying to hold it off. They can also tell you that the Yondaime did not arrive on the battlefield for over 4 hours. The reason he was not there was because his wife Kushina was in labor giving birth to his son. Minato knew that there was no way to kill the Kyuubi as it was, so he discovered a process to summon the Shinigami to help stop the Kyuubi, but he had to have something he could place the Kyuubi in where it would not be able to escape. The only thing strong enough to hold the Kyuubi and keep it from breaking free is a newborn child. A child is required because their chakra coils are not developed yet, and so as the child grows they would slowly absorb the demon's chakra, making it their own, and when they die they would take the demon with them. Minato was too kind-hearted to ask another parent to give up their own child if he was not also willing to do it. He sealed the Kyuubi into his son at the cost of his life, and all he asked was that we see his son as the hero he was. Not even an hour after the Kyuubi was sealed was people calling for Naruto death and several trying to attack and kill him. 98 shinobi and 339 civilians died in the riot after the Sandaime informed the village of Minato final sacrifice, leaving out the fact Naruto was Minato's son to protect Konoha from Iwa, who would have came and killed everyone in our weakened state. The Sandaime passed a law that no one was to tell the younger generation so that Naruto could grow up living a normal life, and any who broke the law was punishable up to being executed. Those 600 that have a reward on their head from the Lightning Lord were the 600 worst attackers on Naruto. He was hated and abused his entire life, and all he did was smile and try and make people laugh. Danzo replied, "Stop with the sad story. The boy should have been made a weapon like every other village has done with their Jinchuriki. Take Gaara for example, a perfect Jinchuriki trained from birth to use the demon's power and kill their enemies." Many of the younger generation was incensed at the older generation when Jiraiya said, and it was Naruto who summoned Gambunta and fought Gaara outside the village during the Chunin exams to save everyone here's life, and what did he get for it? His apartment was broken into and all his belongings set on fire. The Fire Lord replied, As much as I would like to see your counsel and you argue Hokage-sama, I do have other business to attend to now. Tsuruhishi, please come forward and give me your report of the financial situation here in Konoha. The auditor came forward and stated, after careful record checking, my department has determined that Danzo, Kaharu, and Hamaru are using the village funds for their own uses, which has resulted in the village being in department for $9 billion. Sir, to hide this fact from the Hokage and the council, they have been stealing funds from the orphan accounts as well as citizen and clan funds to cover up their uses. Danzo replied, this is observe, I have done no such thing. Saru continued, according to the records I have here, you have personally withdrawn from the bank $7 billion in the past 5 years. Your financial records show that you have earned from outside sources that are unregistered $5 billion in the past 5 years, meaning you have $2 billion that you have no rightful claim over, and you do not have any financial records to indicate where $4 billion of the money went to. At this time, I would have to say that you have been using them for illegal activities. Probably to pay for your own private Anbu unit called Root Danzo, which did not aid in protecting the village when we were attacked because they were too busy guarding your mansion, according to the report made after the invasion, Jiraiya said in response to the numerous people shooting Danzo looks. Danzo replied, I have the right to defend my property and those men are my private security force. Jiraiya replied, as the Rokudame Hokage, I want a list of each of your private security force Danzo and see if any are ninja of this village. If they are, then you Danzo will be charged with treason for misappropriate use of village resources during the time of war. According to Danzo, none are. Jiraiya replied, good, I want photo ID for each so I can give to every ninja of the village so they are not considered spies or traitors and killed. Rend. Frowning, Danzo said, yes Hokage-sama. I assume the other two are just as incriminating. Saru, the Fire Lord, remarked. Indeed, sir, shall I go into detail? Said Saru. The Fire Lord replied, no, just give the report to the Rokudame Hokage. Now I want Sakura Haruno and Hitaki Kakashi to come forward. As Sakura and Kakashi approached, the Fire Lord remarked, now Sakura, your team went on a mission to Wave Country, correct? Sakura responded, yes, Lord Sama. The Fire Lord stated, according to the reports I have read from all 3 genin as well as the report Kakashi made and the letter I received from the client Tazuna recently about the mission, I am going to tell you what I believe happened, and each fact I ask you will shake your head yes or no to see if the facts are correct. Do you understand? Sakura nods as the Fire Lord replies. It originally was a C-rank mission and the client's name was Tazuna, a bridge builder. Nods. You were attacked by Chunin-level missing nins called the Demon Brothers. Kakashi pretended to die, leaving the genin to defend the client. Nods. Sasuke Uchiha tries to take care of one ninja while your other teammate was wounded by the other. Nods. With a poisoned weapon. Nods. Kakashi arrives at the last moment to save the client from the 2 nins. Nods. Naruto bleeds the poison out and you discover that the client lied and that a business tycoon named Gato is after the bridge builder's life. Nods. You continue the mission and encounter Zabuza Momochi. Nods. Sasuke Uchiha nearly killed himself because of the key. When Sakura glanced down, the Fire Lord remarked, I am waiting, Sakura. Sakura nods as the Fire Lord responds. Kakashi said he won't let his team die. Nod. He fights Zabuza and is captured in a water prison. Nods. Naruto comes up with a plan to save Kakashi by hanging himself into a demon windmill shuriken and has a cage bun Shin throw him to Sasuke, who throws it at Zabuza, and when Zabuza jumps to avoid it, Naruto changes back and attacks Zabuza from behind, freeing Kakashi. Nods. Zabuza and Kakashi fight until someone posing as a hunter nin kills Zabuza with senbons in the neck and Kakashi faints. Nods. Naruto carries Kakashi to the client's house where over the rest of the time there Kakashi is mostly bedridden and teaches your team the chakra exercise tree climbing, the first thing he actually taught your team. Kakashi senses multiple people staring at him as Sakura nods. The Fire Lord stated, both your teammates train while you guard the client at the bridge and his family when they went to town. Nods. Zabuza is still alive and the hunter nin is his accomplice. Nods. 2 mercenaries try to kill the client's family while everyone but Naruto is at the bridge because Kakashi did not want to waste time to wake him. Nods. Naruto saves the client's family and then comes to the bridge, fights the fake hunter nin who had already beat the Uchiha while you guard the client, and Kakashi fought Zabuza. Nods. Naruto beats the hunter nin, but the hunter nin Shushin in front of Kakashi to save Zabuza life from a Chidori. Nods. Gato shows up with 200 men to double-cross Zabuza and Naruto convinces Zabuza to avenge the hunter nin and he does so by killing Gato. Nods. Kakashi orders Naruto to bury both the hunter nin and Zabuza while he checks on the Uchiha who was knocked out and leaves Naruto on the bridge. Nods. Several ninja are now staring at Kakashi, the Fire Lord said. So that explains why Naruto is seen as a national hero in Wave Country, because he did more on that mission than anyone else did by protecting his teammates, the client, the client's family, as well as using Cage Bunshin to build the bridge and help to repair the village. Now that explains why Wave hates you all. Let's take T Country. Your team was assigned to protect the runner for one of the two governing bodies there in a race, right? Sakura nods. Kakashi stays in the village while the rest of your team was sent to protect the runner. Nods. You encounter several missing nins which Naruto protected your team from while you all went ahead with the runner, where you met Aoi Rokusho, who attacked your team with the Raijin. Sasuke tried to fight Aoi but got defeated, and Naruto showed up, saved his life defeating Aoi and recovering the Raijin, as well as protecting the runner while you stayed with the Uchiha, who was injured throughout the rest of the race, and even carrying him when his injuries stopped him, that he received thanks to you and Sasuke being unable to protect him. Sakura looked down and nods. The Fire Lord sighed and replied, well, I can see how that would explain why he is a national hero there as well. Now the Spring Country, formerly known as Snow Country. You were originally assigned to protect an actress that was later determined to be the actual princess of Snow Country. You were attacked by ninja again, and Naruto saved the princess' life on several occasions, going so far as to make a ladder of Cage Bunshin to climb onto an airship when the princess had been captured so he could rescue her. When the princess tried to kill her uncle to free her country, her uncle took he hostage again, fleeing to the Rainbow Glacier, and Naruto chased them, fighting her uncle, freeing the princess, as well as activating the generators that thawed the country from its eternal winter. Is that correct? Sakura replied, yes, but Sasuke and I both fought ninja as well as Kakashi. The Fire Lord replied, I am aware of that. Kakashi wanted to finish off his petty revenge from an earlier mission failure to the ninja he killed. The Uchiha wanted to test himself, and you wanted to prove yourself to the Uchiha. None of you were worried about the princess, who was the client you were assigned to protect, except Naruto, correct? The Fire Lord glanced at Kakashi and said, is there anything you would like to add, Kakashi? Something I missed? Sakura nodded and looked down. No, Kakashi replied. The Fire Lord replied, now Jiraiya, since I understand why T, Spring, and Wave all are mad now, and from what the new case Kage Gaara has said, the reason he is hostile toward Konoha is for banishing the only person he respected and was able to defeat him, as well as the person he wanted to marry his sister to form a new political alliance. Now from Tsunade report, the only reason she became the Godem Hokage was because of Naruto, correct? Jiraiya said, yes. Orochimaru offered to bring back to life her brother and her fiancé copyright if she would restore his arms from the damage Sensei did to them before he died. He gave her a week to consider. That same day Naruto and I had tracked her down, and I asked her to become the Godem, and she refused. She insulted the office and the Hokage, and Naruto lost his temper and called her a drunk old hag and a coward. She was drunk at the time and she challenged him to a fight. They went outside and she said she could beat him with one finger, and they fought, and the alcohol got to her, causing her to nearly miss the fact Naruto was trying to make a Rasengan to use on her. She realized it at the last second and had to break her word of only using one finger. She then called him a weak fool that never had a chance to finish learning the Rasengan, just like it was only fools who would become Hokage. Naruto told her he would finish learning it in 3 days. She gave him a week. At the end of the week she met with Orochimaru and turned him down because she didn't want to take either side. She had poisoned me to keep me out of the way and knocked out her assistant Shizune. Naruto came back from training on the Rasengan, and we all tracked her down, where she was nearly being defeated by Orochimaru and his assistant Kabuto. I ordered Naruto not to get involved since the fight was over his head, and Shizune fought Kabuto and nearly died until Naruto saved her. He then fought Kabuto for a while until Kabuto experience gave him the upper hand. He went to kill Tsunade. I was busy fighting Orochimaru and Shizune was injured, so it was a surprise to us all when Naruto got in front of the strike after he had created a Cage Bunshin and took the strike through his hand. He then held onto Kabuto's hand, making it where he could not escape, and with the help of the Cage Bunshin completed the actual Rasengan. A jutsu that took his father 3 years to create, took me a year to learn, and he learned the entire process in 1 month. He used the Rasengan and defeated Kabuto, but not before Kabuto damaged Naruto's heart. It was seeing him save her life several times that made Tsunade take a chance, and she saved his life, gave him her grandfather necklace, and decided to become the Godem Hokage. She even acknowledged his dream of becoming Hokage and named him her original successor instead of me, but the council ruined it, so she took what was rightfully hers, took another apprentice, and left the village after declaring them free ninja with affiliation to no hidden village, taking the Hokage hat, her clan's half of the village treasury, and other things that were awarded to her as both the Hokage and a senju. Because of the council, Konoha lost the best medic ever, the slug contract, and the toad contract, because they told me that as long as I serve Konoha, they will only visit me. So if Orochimaru decides to attack again with Manda, many people will perish before Manda is vanquished because we have no summons that can take him. The Fire Lord rubbed his eyes and said, That's it, I can't stand the sight of all these people. Even after hearing what all the boy has done in the name of this village, most of the older generation are still looking at him as a demon. As of this moment, I hereby withdraw all support of this village. I will send all my missions to other countries. My samurai and temple priest will not come aid your village if it is attacked or need help. I wipe my hands of this village. Your council has ruined the village and the people here are nothing but a waste. Well, the adults, at least my suggestion to all you children is, if you think your families are wrong, is get out of this village while you can, because if you follow them it will lead to your death. Let's go. He started to walk away. Jiraiya grabbed everyone's attention as they began to depart by saying, "This meeting is not over yet. Since the council has pointed out a law, the Nidaime, created for wartime, I will point out several others that were created." Danzo replied, "You are not the Hokage, Jiraiya. We did not elect you." Jiraiya continued, "The council can only elect a Hokage if one was not selected before the Hokage retired or passed away, and Tsunade selected me, so you have no say." Danzo, "Interrupt me again and I will consider it treason and kill you myself. Yes, your little root agent may kill me in the process, but I will kill you as well. Now that I have everyone's attention, since we are at war, resources are going to become scarce. All perishable food will not be rationed to ensure that we always will have enough. All restaurants except for Ichiruka ramen stand will be closed. Ichiruka ramen stand will be allowed to operate to feed the academy students and will be paid from the Hokage account. Eggs, milk, cheese, bread, alcohol, meat, fish, and other perishables will only be eligible to ninja of the village through ration stamps. No ration stamp, no perishable food." "You can't do that, we will starve to death," cried a civilian. Jiraiya responded, "You seem to forget, Konoha is a ninja village, not a civilian village. Civilian should never have been allowed on the council in the first place. If you don't like what I am saying, don't let the gate hit you on your way out, because you are just using resources that our fighting forces need, so you are considered expendable. If you're not a ninja, then you have two choices: become one or leave." Everyone was taken aback when Jiraiya said, "Now where was I? Oh yes. The second thing is, because of several council members we are nearly broke, so we are going to have to start taxing luxuries. The hot springs are now $10 more an hour than it has been, and that money will go into the Hokage account that only the Hokage has access to. Since the council can't be trusted, all hot water heaters in the village will be removed from homes and businesses and destroyed. The fuel cost to run them can be used in other areas." "You can't do that, I need my hot baths," Kaharu remarked. Jiraiya said, "Are you saying you're not tough enough to do your duty, Kaharu? If so, I got an ink pen you can sign your resignation letter with." Now where was I? Oh yes, all hot springs are now co-ed, since we don't have enough to be picky between men and women. If you want hot water in your home, you can pay for a D-rank mission for some of our genin and chunin to use Kaiden Jutsu to boil the water for you. There will be a curfew on all civilians. Any civilian caught outside after dark will be arrested and held by Anbu for a minimum of 1 week and will be questioned by Ibiki or Anko. All council decisions must be approved unanimously now. There is no longer a majority vote. The council does not have the authorization to order any Konoha ninja. If they do so, it will be considered treason and the entire council will be executed. All ninja missions must be approved and given out by me. No one else. Danzo, Kaharu, Hamaru, I can't do anything about the funds you took because they fell under the term of another Hokage, but I am stating this. If I find you have taken any more funds or resources for your own personal use, I will kill you myself. I would disband the entire council if I had the power to, but you all were power hungry and created laws after the Yondaime and the Sandame's death, weakening the power of the Hokage. I will not let what you did during other Hokage terms work for me. If you do not show me proper respect, I will send you to Ibiki or kill you. Kakashi, if you are late for any meeting or mission, your Sharingan eye will be removed and destroyed. As for the rest of you, the village is officially under martial law until this war is over. I do not require the council permission to pass any law, and the council cannot pass any without them all approving and my approval. If you have a complaint, complain to the council. Come to me and you will be arrested. Now for my last ruling, all females ninja while on duty inside the village are required to be without bindings or bras. That is all dismissed. And thought, hee. Tsunade asked herself, why'd I feel like killing Jiraiya? Enlightening country. The town of Konoha was in shock following the town meeting and the departure of the Fire Lord. Older people who detested Naruto believed that he was to blame for the mess and that it was his way of exacting revenge on them. Those who supported him or were neutral believed that Konoha's sins were finally being punished. The majority of the village's ninja were aware that the Hokage and the council were engaged in a power struggle in Konoha that had finally reached a breaking point. Others pondered whether they would be exiled if they failed a mission. Some believed that a civil war was about to break out in Konoha. Others simply couldn't make sense of what they had heard. The younger generation was asking questions of the older generation, people who truly knew Naruto, such as the Rookie 9, were taken aback by how their home had been treating a familiar face. Each of them started thinking about it and recalled their previous interactions with Naruto in an attempt to find evidence to support or refute what they had heard. They were all appalled by the discovery of the evidence. Now that all the cards are on the table, let's see where this goes, Jiraiya thought as he sat in his office with his feet on his desk in the Hokage's office. Sakura was crying as she gazed at her old best friend at Ino's house and uttered the words, "I can't believe this." Ino responded, "I know Sakura, did you hear the adults talking about him like he was some kind of creature instead of a person?" Sakura looks at him and says, "That's crazy. I've been his teammate all this time and he has done nothing but tried to help everyone, never hurt anyone unless there was no choice. I almost want to leave this village if this is how they are," Ino remarked, glancing up at the ceiling. Gazing downward, Sakura uttered, "Ino, can I stay here with you for a while?" "Why?" Ino inquired. "My mom is one of those who hate him. I heard her saying it's about time they killed him and—" Sakura said, biting her lip. Sakura started to say something, but Ino interrupted her by grabbing her in an embrace and saying, "Okay, you can stay here." Downstairs, Inoichi yelled, "Ino, Sakura, prepare for battle." Sume and Hana Inuzuka, along with their friends Kurenai, Kiba, and Shino, were seated on the Team 8 training ground when Kiba questioned, "But Mom, if you knew about this, why didn't you ever adopt him?" Sume murmured, "Kiba, there are things that you were not told. Most of the council has done everything they can to make his life hell. They made it where he could not be adopted by any of the clans. Well, that was actually mostly the Uchiha clan's fault, but that's a moot point. The Ino Shikacho families all were supportive of him, as was I and Shino family. In fact, the only ones who were not supportive of him were the Uchiha and the Hyuga, but the Hyuga were at least neutral toward him." The triplets began growling at that moment, and Hana stood up in a defensive position and remarked, "Everyone, we got company." Lee was punching a log while Team 9 practiced across the village, stating, "This is most unyouthful." Tenten replied, "I can't believe this. How is it that we all missed what was going on? I thought we were ninja, yet we fucking missed the entire village treating the son of the Yondaime like that." Neji replied, "He has defied fate his entire life and they still treat him like a creature. I wonder." Jiraiya-sama said Tsunade-sama took a new apprentice with her. "Hinata has not been here for 2 weeks. Is she Tsunade-sama apprentice?" With a frown, Tenten remarked, "I wish it could be me." Before charging forward and smashing his leg into the log, which splintered into a million pieces, Lee took a stance and stood back, leaving his teammates staring at him in disbelief. Lee turned and said, "Naruto, if it wasn't for Naruto I would never be a ninja again because he brought Tsunade back to heal me. If it wasn't for him I would be dead right now. Gaara came to my hospital room while I was injured and he went to finish what he started in the exams. Naruto showed up with Shikamaru and saved me while I was passed out. Gai-sensei arrived later, but he told me it was those two who saved me. When you, Neji, and the others went to stop Sasuke, I came to help. I got there and Naruto was fighting a man who could use the bones in his body as a weapon and he was holding his own. I wanted to repay him and told Naruto to go get Sasuke while I took on the Bone Nin. I gave it everything I had to defeat him and I would have died then, except I was saved again by an unlikely source. Gaara saved me because he came to repay Naruto for saving him from the darkness the demon inside of him placed him in. In the end it all comes down to my life is owed to Naruto, and this village has done everything they can to destroy him, and I can't follow this village anymore." As he reached up and pulled his head off and dropped it on the ground. Tenten gave him a startled look and said, "What are you doing, Lee? You trained too hard to throw it all away. You can't give up your dream to prove yourself a ninja to everyone just like that?" Lee stated, "You not understanding, Tenten. I wanted to prove I was able to be a ninja, yes, but I also want to be a ninja I can be proud of. I can't follow a village that would throw away a hero just like that. What's stopping them from kicking me out next? Or you or anyone else? You saw it today. The council and the Hokage are in a power struggle, and I don't think Jiraiya-sama is really trying to be the Hokage. I think he's buying time." Neji replied, "You're right, Lee. He must be giving Tsunade-sama and her team time to get ready for whatever they got planned." Tenten said, scowling, "Not you also, Neji?" Neji stated, "Like Lee, I owe Naruto a debt. Tenten. I hurt my cousin who has never done me any wrong because of my blind hate for the main branch. I destroyed years of happiness that I can never replace, and now I have a chance to change that. I am going to ask Jiraiya-sama to send me on a long-term mission to track down Naruto and join him so I can be with Hinata." Tenten gazed up at the sky and said, "I don't know what to think or do anymore. I never would have thought Konoha would be like this. I am honestly expecting a civil war soon because I saw how the younger generation acted when they heard what the older generation did to him." Her eyes widened for a moment before she leapt away as a kunai struck the ground where she had been just moments earlier. After activating his bloodline and surveying the area, Neji remarked, "They have us surrounded. There are 4 of them. all wearing Anbu masks with the kanji for NE on them. Lee assumed a defensive posture and asked, "What do you want?" Neji started to spin and yell, "Kaden!" As Chakra stopped the weapons, he grabbed the shurikens and threw them at one of the root members. A voice said, "You have been corrupted by the demon and must be illuminated to stop the corruption from spreading." Even as they struck a log, Neji continued to say, "Lee, drop the weights while I cover you." Tenten, 4 o'clock. Acting swiftly, Tenten drew out her weapon scrolls and jumped into the air, yelling, "Twin Rising Dragon." She then started to fire various weapons in the area Neji had instructed her to attack. After letting go of his weights, Lee quickly located one of the root ninja and slammed his fist into the nin's mask. Shattering it, he then performed a roundhouse kick, yelling, "Leaf Whirlwind." He then kicked the man in the head, snapping his neck. Tenten smirked as chakra strings formed and she yanked on them, sending her weapons flying into the back of the root member and killing him. Tenten had used up both of her scrolls and had fallen to the ground when the root member, who had been hiding behind a tree, charged at her. When Neji said, "You are within my range of divination 8 trigrams 128 palms 2 palms 4 palms 8 palms 16 palms 32 palms 64 palm 128 palm strike," the man slumped to the ground, dead at this point. Neji had charged toward the person who had replaced himself earlier and was fighting Taijustu. After surveying the area, Neji remarked, "I don't see the other one, he must have gotten away, we must inform Jiraiya-sama immediately." Tenten remarked, "Right, who are these guy?" Neji replied, "Root, that was the name Jiraiya-sama called Danzo bodyguards." "This is crazy, are we the only team to be attacked?" Tenten scowled. When Guy arrived, he said, "I was too late, they attacked here also," and the three of them prepared to fight after hearing the sound of branches breaking. "What has happened, Guy-sensei?" inquired Lee. Guy stated, "Danzo." He could not turn over the identities of his root without showing he had committed treason, so he had 6 teams attack Jiraiya-sama, who with the help of Anbu were able to kill them all, but Danzo also sent his root members after anyone who would be sympathetic toward Naruto. So far Ichiruka ramen stand has been set on fire, but both the owner and his daughter were able to escape with just smoke in their lunges. Iruka at the academy was attacked in his classroom, but luckily Anko was visiting him and was able to help save him and the kids. Team 8 was attacked as well, but Hana Inuzuka was there talking with her brother along with Sume, and they killed 2 teams of root. "I don't know who else was attacked as I came to find you all. We must report to the tower immediately." And Lee, "Where is your headband?" "I can't wear it anymore. Guy-sensei, I disagree with the village and the council," Lee said, casting a downward glance. "I owe Naruto too much for me to discard everything he has done for me." Lee, "I do not agree with the council and the village on this, but quitting is not the way to solve this. Naruto never quit, and neither should you," Guy said, noticing it on the ground and picking it up. Lee looked at Guy and replied, "Hold it for me. If when this mess is over I feel different I will accept it back, but for now I can't. I will go with you to the tower to see what is going on, but then I will make a choice." Guy jumped away, closed his eyes, nodded, and said, "Come then, my team." Tenten questioned, "Is this a civil war, Guy-sensei?" as the team soon smelled smoke and saw the remnants of buildings that had burned down. Guy replied, "No, we have reports that Danzo has already fled the village to somewhere safe and his root members are covering his escape, but the ones who are here that attacked you are all the weakest members of his group." With a frown, Tenten questioned, "So what's going to happen?" As they passed by rooftop, Guy remarked, "I don't know. Jiraiya-sama ordered all of us to protect anyone who was attacked and bring them to the Hokage Tower." Team 9 was taken aback by the sheer number of people present when they arrived at the Hokage Tower. Jiraiya frowned as he observed the crowd and reflected. Danzo knew Naruto had this many friends and allies. He must have been preparing this for some time. "What the hell do they want?" he asked, turning to face the 2 individuals entering the room. As Jiraiya was releasing ki, Kaharu slammed him against the wall and uttered, "Jiraiya, you must stop this execution of Danzo Personal B. According to Hamaru, stop this instant, Jiraiya." Jiraiya remarked, "You both try to boss me around while telling me to stop having my men stop Danzo men from killing innocent villagers. Both of you leave my view. You are out of line. Jiraiya, we are the elder advisors and based on your actions tonight we are calling for a vote of no confidence in you with the Hamaru said as he abruptly caught Kaharu, who had been thrown by Jiraiya, who yelled, "Anbu. Take both these 2 to Ibiki and tell him to have fun," said Anbu, who had just emerged. When a wounded team of Anbu suddenly appeared, Jiraiya looked and thought, "What the hell?" Because they were wearing the same mask as the ones who had just taken the elders. The Anbu had grabbed the elders and fled in a flurry of leaves. Owl responded, "Sir, we were attacked by some of Danzo men while some of them impersonated us." After frowning, Jiraiya said, "Get patched up and return to your post." Jiraiya thought, "This is crazy. How far are they willing to go to hurt those who are close to Naruto?" As the four bowed and departed, a kunai suddenly flew through the window, and Jiraiya turned in time to hear the sound of a tag exploding. He hurried out of the office as soon as the tag exploded. "What are your orders, Jiraiya-sama?" Kakashi asked as Jiraiya stood up and stared at his destroyed office. "I need to find out what is going on. Search the village and report back to me. Something's not right," Jiraiya said, glancing at Kakashi. With a nod, Kakashi swiftly disappears into a whirl of foliage. As he walked outside and observed the nearly 200 individuals who had been attacked in the previous hour, Jiraiya thought, "I don't like this." When Kakashi heard the sound of speakers turning on as he was hurrying through the village, he paused and turned to look around, wondering, who was using the emergency broadcast system? The majority of the villagers were also searching the area to see who was using it when Danzo's voice could be heard saying, "People of Konoha. I was accused today of using the village ninja as part of my personal security detail by Rokudame Hokage Jiraiya. He seems to be trying to paint me as guilty, even though I formally denied those accusations. He is accusing me of being responsible for the attacks on the villagers while disguising his own Anbu as my security force. I've also heard that he killed his Sandame's teammates Kaharu and Hamaru because they didn't join him in his witch hunt after they injured his godson Naruto Uzumaki. Do we really want to follow a man who cheats on women and neglects his responsibility to keep an eye on them? He did, after all, abandon his godson for the majority of his life." Jiraiya clenched his fist in the Hokage tower, thinking, "I will kill you, Danzo." Everyone was staring around in deep contemplation after learning that the senior advisors had been killed. "Danzo is a warmonger who has always wanted to be the Hokage," was the general statement given to the Rookie Nine and their family, who were all shocked but mostly in shock at hearing Danzo trying to manipulate the people. At least the adults who knew him, their children, raised doubts about the veracity of that claim. To obtain it, he would murder any ally or enemy. That caused the majority of them to consider Danzo's statement from a different perspective, and they all realized that he was destroying Konoha out of personal greed. Kiba responded, "Mom, if this guy is so dangerous to attack our own people, why hasn't he been assassinated before now?" According to Jiraiya, who recently joined the group, because he was too valuable for Konoha's safety to get rid of before now, as well as the blackmail he had on the Sandame. Ino inquired, "What do you mean, Hokage-sama? You must realize that we were outclassed in many battles during the Great Ninja War." Jiraiya sighed. "Some people, like Hanzo, defeated all three of the Sanins. Danzo was given permission to create Root because Konoha at the time lacked a spy master to assist with counterintelligence. He was assigned the specific task of using espionage to undermine Konoha's adversaries. He did just that. Over the years, his use of civilians as test subjects led to the initial discovery of Orochimaru. He alerted the Sandame Hokage, who assembled a team and apprehended Orochimaru in the act. However, the Sandame was unable to kill his once favorite pupil and allowed him to get away. Danzo saw the Sandame as an enemy of Konoha who was destroying the city from within. After that, which was the last straw for him, he began his efforts to discredit him after discovering something the Sandame had concealed from everyone and that he had made Sensei retire with. What did Hiyashi discover that would compel the Sandame to retire? Jiraiya, I believe that he retired because he wanted a strong, not an elderly, leader in the Yondaime Zero for Konoha." With a sigh, Jiraiya took a seat and remarked, "Back when the Nidame Hokage was alive, something happened, something that even Tsunade was unaware of. Actually, aside from myself, I believe that Danzo is the only one who is aware of the truth." Asuma inquired, "What truth, Jiraiya-sama?" Jiraiya said, "Minato's real name shouldn't be Namikaze." After glancing at Asuma, "Your half-brother Asuma's real name should be Minato Senju Sarutobi." Sakura questioned, "So does that mean Naruto is actually Tsunade's grandson?" As Asuma's eyes and those of several others widened. "No," Jiraiya said, shaking his head. "Tsunade is too young to be the mother of Minato. In actuality, the Nidame was unable to conceive, and Nawaki, Tsunade's brother, had passed away. Therefore, in an attempt to save the Senju family, he persuaded Tsunade's mother, the wife of the Shodame's son, to have another child, ideally a boy, and she consented. The Nidame then made a deal with the sensei to assist in the child's conception, and he would pick him over Danzo as the Hokage. He consented and named Sensei as his successor after Minato was conceived. 2 weeks later, the Nidame was killed in combat, and Sensei assumed leadership. Sensei, who was then married to your mother, was unable to claim Minato after the Shodem wife passed away giving birth to him. Danzo used this to deny him the title of Hokage, dishonoring the Senju and Sarutobi clans. In any case, when he asked me to train his son, he trusted me with the secret and did everything in his power to ensure Minato was taken care of. Danzo didn't find out until he overheard a fight between me and my sensei over a mission I completed with Minato. Ino replied, so wait a minute, you're saying Naruto is actually related to 5 of the 6 Hokage. And that's why Danzo is working so hard to destroy Naruto. Think about it, Jiraiya said. The closest thing Konoha has to royalty is Naruto. This explains why Danzo so desperately wanted Naruto to be a part of his root program, why he has worked so hard to undermine Naruto's reputation among the villagers, and why he wanted him to leave the village before he could claim his birthright. The truth was going to be revealed when Naruto created Chunin, and it probably would have happened during the most recent Chunin exams if it weren't for the invasion. For this reason, Team 7 was assigned political missions that would typically be assigned to Anbu. So you're saying Naruto is actually my nephew just like Konohamaru is, and he was setting Naruto up for what exactly? Something's not adding up here, Asuma said after dropping his cigarettes. Wide-eyed, Konohamaru thought, boss is my cousin. With a sigh, Jiraiya stated, I'm not familiar with Asuma, I simply don't know what he had planned, but it doesn't matter anymore. Danzo is attempting to sow discord between those who support Naruto and those who do not, as he has been exiled. Sakura questioned, wait, why wasn't he with his family or you if he was your godson and the Sandame's grandson? Why was he by himself back then? I wanted to take him out of the village with me, but Sensei said he would be safer here under the watchful eye of his family, Jiraiya said, glancing at her. At first, he intended for Kei's, his older son and wife, to adopt Naruto. Since they didn't want one clan to be more powerful than the others and refused to accept the law the Sandame wanted to pass to keep Naruto and the Kyuubi secret from everyone who didn't know, the Uchiha clan caused a commotion when several of the Konoha clans wanted to adopt him. They threatened to start a civil war if he was adopted by any clan as a compromise. They agreed to the law and enforced it, but no clan was able to adopt him when Konohamaru's parents died on a mission following the Uchiha massacre. Asuma was at the fire temple being the Hokage. He was too busy to fight the law against any clan obtaining him without losing his grandson to another clan, so he left him where he was. By that point, I had already begun looking for Akatsuki. Who is Akatsuki? Inquired Shikamaru. Akatsuki is a group of S-rank missing nins that are after the Biju, Jiraiya said, scowling as he realized his blunder. We don't know why, but they intend to take them from each of the Jinchuriki, which will kill Tama Yuro, including Naruto. When we went to get Tsunade to become the Hokage, they actually made one attempt on his life already as he gazed up at the sky. Uchiha Itachi and Kisame Hoshigaki attacked and attempted to capture him. When they heard this, a few of the adults' eyes widened and they started to speak, but then Jiraiya saw a puff of smoke and an orange toad that said, Yo! What are you doing here, Gamakichi? Jiraiya inquired. Bro sent me with a scroll for you, something from the Breastzilla, Gamakichi said, glancing around. What's happening here? As a number of people laughed at Tsunade's moniker, Jiraiya remarked, give me the scroll, Gamakichi. When Jiraiya opened the scroll the toad gave him and started reading, his eyes widened and he thought, damn kid, I didn't see that one coming. The Raikage and the Jinchuriki of the Nibi are en route to visit you, and you have a female fox working for you, giving you a bloodline adaptation. He paused to think, Tsunade wants me to come talk to them about Akatsuki to see if we can get an ally against them. Ino inquired, what does it say, Jiraiya-sama, and how is Naruto doing? Jiraiya blinked, glanced at everyone, then briefly returned his attention to the scroll before turning back to the group and saying, Kakashi, you here? As he made his way through the crowd, Kakashi declared, I'm here, Jiraiya-sama. However, some people made it more difficult for him. Congratulations, Kakashi. You're getting a mini promotion, Jiraiya said. Upon seeing him, I have to go on a diplomatic mission because of the threat posed by Akatsuki and some recent revelations. Everyone in this area is accompanying me for their protection and to make sure that everyone is aware of the latest information. You are acting as Hokage until I return, and you are formally designated as my successor in the event that I am killed. Do you get it? After hearing about Kakashi earlier in the day, some people narrowed their eyes, while others were taken aback. After hearing what Kakashi had done, Kiba became enraged and remarked, but why him and not someone else? Jiraiya replied, simple, as much as it pains me to say it, nobody else but Kakashi currently has all the requirements to be Hokage, but it is only temporary anyways. And why do you need all of us to come with you, Jiraiya-sama? Hiyashi asked, his eyes narrowed. I appreciate your desire to keep everyone safe, but couldn't you simply provide security for everyone who might require it? Jiraiya responded, I could, but that would be a waste of resources that Konoha needs to survive, and this scroll here is the real reason he held the scroll to Hiyashi, who took it and started reading, his eyes widening. Since you are a council member Hiyashi and a clan head, I will let you and the other council, clan heads read it as well so you can see what is so important that I need all you to come, he said. Shikaku asked, what is it that has shocked you so much Hiyashi? Hiyashi was typically the stoic stick-up-his-ass type, so seeing the shocked expression on his face made many people wonder. Apparently Naruto has, for a better word of it, tamed the Kyuubi and has her doing his bidding now, Hiyashi said, looking up after rereading the scroll and swallowing hard. I have never been so proud of any student in my life, Jiraiya said, sobbing. He is now able to legally have as many women as he desires, fulfilling every man's dream. Many people's eyes widened, and they screamed, "What?" Kakashi then questioned, what do you mean, Jiraiya-sama? The boy has himself a harem now, including Hiyashi daughter, some ice chick he met in Wave and an, Jiraiya said with a big perverted grin. He sniffled a few times in an attempt to calm himself down and added, I can't say it, you will just have to see for yourself. I had no idea that the boy was so much of a man's man that Kyuubi was pleading with him to be her alpha. When Hana said, wait a minute, you mean the Kyuubi has decided Naruto, the loudmouth, orange-wearing Naruto, is an alpha and chosen him as her mate? The three Inuzuka's eyes widened as they realized what he was talking about. Jiraiya replied, and got the fox to give him the most powerful bloodline in the world as a gift to choose her. The boy is a genius. The image of Naruto with three women, one of whom was a demon, and his new bloodline left everyone in shock. Asuma extinguished his cigarette and asked, when do you plan to leave Jiraiya-sama? Because the Sarutobi clan wishes to remove itself from Konoha for banishing one of its members. Which startled everyone and caused several to widen their eyes. Jiraiya stopped praising Naruto and said, I thought you would say that, Asuma, so that's why I've decided that in order to protect their clan and family during this period of civil unrest, I'm allowing any and all shinobi and clans to be released from their bonds to Konoha as my next law before I leave to meet the Raikage, the feudal lord of Lightning Country, and a few other select guests. They can rejoin if they so choose once things have calmed down without fear of retaliation or hunter nins pursuing them. Although I can't force everyone to accompany me to this meeting, I do ask that if you are concerned about your safety in the village right now, you follow me for the time being. You are free to leave at any moment to go back or remain where we are going. Tomorrow morning, I intend to depart. If you choose to accompany me, we will meet at the Chunin Exam Stadium tomorrow at 7 a.m. Please bring everything you need because it might not be there when you get back. If you do, I apologize, but given Danzo's earlier announcement, I cannot ensure your safety if you stay here. The people who attacked you were Danzo's weakest men. I'll use the Toad Shushin to get you all to where Naruto is, so don't worry about the long journey. Gamakichi, please tell Naruto and your father what you've heard and seen here. I'm worried about the safety of all Naruto's precious people. As he rose in smoke and Jiraiya's face faltered, Gamakichi nodded and said, sure, and I will inform the proper toads to be ready for your summon in the morning. Ero Sanin. A number of people laughed. Jiraiya got back up and declared, I can't do it again after tomorrow morning, but I will have a team of Anbu watch each of your homes tonight to make sure you are safe. Please don't hate Naruto for forcing this issue on you all. He is just as much of a victim as the rest of you are. Come with me, Kakashi, so I can show you what to do while I am away, he said, returning to the Hokage Tower, but this time to a different office because the Hokage office had been destroyed. When they reached the room, Jiraiya said, so do you realize what is really going on, Kakashi? Before shutting the door and sealing the space. You're not coming back, are you, Jiraiya-sama? Kakashi asked with a sigh. No, if I stay in power, Danzo's little stunt earlier will lead to a civil war, which would cause many innocent people to be harmed or killed, Jiraiya said. The only way to avoid it is to do what I am doing now, which is to go on an official mission to check and meet with Naruto's uncle and the Raikage. You try your best to keep everything running smoothly here, see what you can do to calm people down, and give us some time to determine the true situation. Even though the village is broke and you will need to use the D-rank mission pays to get the higher level nin operating, if my guess is correct and as many people come with me as I hope tomorrow or leave thanks to my little law I stated earlier than you, it should hurt the council and Danzo enough and free up those who are loyal to the village. It's ironic that you chose to teach that boy your own signature assassination jutsu and play favorites, Kakashi, which is how this whole mess began. It really is all my fault, Kakashi thought as he looked down at this, and Jiraiya let him go while he completed the paperwork for his flight out of the village. After Gamakichi returned and told everyone what had happened in Konoha, Naruto woke up in a deep state of contemplation. His uncle had agreed to help Naruto right away and had accommodations made for him by erecting his own royal tents, which were large enough to accommodate him and his entire court in private rooms. He had a number of those tents, but they were located outside the castle walls, and in order to reach them, one had to pass through the castle because of a cliff on the backside that faced the sea. He turned to see Haku waking up after hearing a moan from next to him. He grinned and said, "Good morning, Haku. How are you?" "Great now, Naru-kun," said Haku with a smile. "That's what I've needed for a long time." "So did I. What should we do?" said Naruto. "What do we do about Hinata? I mean, I've been putting it off and off." After a brief scowl, Haku remarked, "Naruto-kun, you already know what has to be done. She would sacrifice herself for you and is incredibly loyal to you since we arrived. She has made every effort to win your and my approval." Kyuubi concurs with her as well. "Go get her if you're sure," Naruto said, nodding. "I'm going to quickly take a shower." When Haku nods and leaves in a shushin, Naruto hears the shower water start and watches the bathroom door slam and lock. He yells, "Don't use all the hot water," and gets up to get some clothes. Haku went to Hinata's room after getting dressed and letting Naruto take a shower. She knocked, and a few seconds later, Hinata opened the door and said, "Yes, Haku. Are you certain you want to be with him and me?" Haku inquired, even with full knowledge of the truth. "Yes," Hinata replied. "What would your purpose be to him?" asked Haku, closing her eyes. "What can you provide him with?" With a slight stutter at the end, Hinata said, "I will be by his side to support him when he needs support and help guide him when he is lost and protect him when he needs protecting." She briefly fidgeted and began to put her hands together, but stopped and forced them to her side. Haku gives Hinata a nod and says, "I will kill you if you ever hurt him. I would sacrifice my life for him because he is so precious to me. I accept you as my partner because I'm not sure I can give him all the love he needs because his heart is so large. I've already told him, and he's waiting for you in his room. So go there if you're certain." She turned and left, heading toward the courtyard, saying, "If you have any doubts, stop now because there is no turning back." As Hinata watched Haku go, she bit her lip in shock, put on her shoes, and left her room. After a few minutes, Hinata was outside Naruto's room, raising her hand and softly knocking on the door. Naruto was standing there when the door opened a short while later, saying, "Hello, Hinata-chan. How are you today?" he asked, wearing a slight smile. Haku began to lift her fingers together, but she quickly pushed them back down and said, "All right, Naruto-kun, you were waiting for me," Haku said. After a moment of biting his lip, Naruto questioned, "Did she say anything else?" With a nod, Hinata briefly closed her eyes, inhaled, and uttered, "She told me that she approves of me." "Are you certain about this, Hinata?" asked Naruto. "I mean, I don't really know how to act or not act in relationships, and I tend to talk without thinking, which could accidentally hurt you in the future. Do you really think you want to be with me?" As they met eyes, Hinata uttered, "More than anything." With his eyes closed, Naruto nodded, moved to the side, and said, "Please come on in then." After Hinata bit her lip and entered slowly, Naruto asked, "Are you sure you want this, Hinata? Before shutting the door, I mean. There's no turning back if you agree." Hinata said politely, "I am sure, Naruto-kun." Hinata eeped for a moment before she composed herself, but Naruto nodded as he approached, wrapped his arms around her from behind, and planted a kiss on her neck. "Are you ready to become a kitsune, Hinata?" asked Naruto with a smile. Hinata nods her head, unable to talk for fear of fainting. When Naruto noticed this, he bent over and bit her neck. Hinata moaned as heat and pleasure shot through her body, and she closed her eyes and tried to cool herself by reaching for her coat. Naruto then removed his lips from her neck, walked around, and kissed her before picking her up bridal style and carrying her to bed. When Tsunade and Shizune emerged into the courtyard, they noticed Haku sitting there staring at the fountain. Tsunade noticed that she was preoccupied and turned to face her, asking, "Is everything okay, Haku?" "Oh, everything fine, Tsunade-sama," Haku said, a little startled to hear Tsunade's voice. "Why are you asking?" Tsunade replied, "Well, you seem distracted for some reason and both Naruto and Hinata are not here." As she closed her eyes, Haku asked, "Do you think you could teach Naruto-kun a privacy jutsu, Tsunade-sama?" After hearing a moan and then a louder one. Tsunade said, "I see. Are you okay with this?" as her eyes widened. "I told her to leave," Haku said, biting her lip. "It must happen this way. Even though I'm not used to the idea of another woman with him, he is willing to make friends into family because he has always desired a large family. I will accept it because I can't possibly fill the void in his heart on my own. I'll be alright as long as he continues to treat me the same way he always has." A shout of, "O Naruto!" interrupted Shizune's sentence, and all three women turned to face the balcony where Naruto's room was. Haku then remarked, "Damn girl has a set of lunges. She would be screaming for hours if I hadn't exhausted his ass last night." "Wait," Shizune said, blinking, "You and him last night?" "Yes." Haku said he was depressed after we learned about his friends in Konoha, so I went to talk to him in his room after 6 hours. I was satisfied. After glancing at Haku, Tsunade uttered the words, "Only content." "Alright, I'm using my bloodline to take the ache away right now," Haku said after blushing for a few moments. When Naruto-kun has sex, he gets possessed. He goes from being tender and loving to using pain and pleasure to mark his territory before jackhammering you until you are unable to move, until you faint from pleasure. He keeps going. It's impossible to stop him once he picks up speed, and you don't want to stop him either. I am aware that I was giving it my all when I was on all four. After glancing at Haku and then Shizune, Tsunade started laughing when she noticed that Shizune had fainted. Haku then questioned, "Why did she faint?" "Shizune is a virgin." Tsunade declared. She makes an effort not to consider having sex. It may surprise you to learn that she used to faint exactly like Hinata. She has only been somewhat calmed by years of being around me and Jiraiya, but she still feels uncomfortable discussing it. Haku replied, "I see she's not going to try and be with Naruto-kun, is she?" "No," Tsunade said. Laughing, "Shizune is not a cause for concern. He is like a little brother to her. No, she has been in a relationship with someone for years, but she is too shy to tell him." Haku and Tsunade both laughed when Ichigo said, "Girls got some lunges," as he left the courtyard. Ichigo inquired, "So have you thought about what you're going to do?" Tsunade replied, "I will decide soon, but I need to see what the Gaki got planned and what we have to work with." Ichigo nods, and Naruto says, "Sorry I am late, I had to take a shower," as he leaves the room, dressed and with his hair wet. Haku replied, "You mean a second shower, right? I know you had one after I left this morning." "So you're already trying to restore our family, Naruto, with the help of two ladies," Ichigo said, blinking. Naruto's eyes glossed over and he said, "Whatever," in a flush. As Haku growled for a moment, Tsunade blinked and squinted, and Naruto blinked and uttered, "The Raikage is here." "What makes you say that, Gaki?" inquired Tsunade. Turning away from her, Naruto moaned and uttered, Nibi in heat, or her Jinchuriki is, I should say." Tsunade remarked, "I see Haku also detects it and she's getting defensive about it and you're reacting to it," after noticing that Haku's eyes had narrowed. Naruto was putting his head down and Tsunade, "Don't worry, Gaki, it's only because of what you were just doing. Once you have time to calm down and the pheromones that you are releasing right now die down, both Haku and you will be fine. The Inuzuka have the same problem sometimes." Hinata asked, "Is everything alright?" as she left with a slight limp. When Naruto emerged, Shizune, who had just woken up, said, "Yes, why?" Getting restless, Hinata uttered, "I feel tense for some reason, like I want to fight." Ichigo started to lead the way out of the courtyard after Tsunade told Hinata what had happened. He said, "Well, now that we go this taken care of, perhaps we should go see our guest. I can assume that they are waiting in the main audience chambers." The Raikage and a woman in her late teens or early 20s were standing there when the group entered the chambers. The Raikage bowed and said, "Ah, it's good to see you again, your lordship." As he launched a key shot at Yugito, Naruto yelled, "Cut the shit and tell us what you want, and could you please tell Nibi it's not going to work?" After noticing Yugito flinch, the Raikage blinked and inquired, "Is something the matter?" "Pussy is trying to get my attention by making her Jinchuriki body act like it's in heat," Naruto said. Glancing at him, I thought it was a natural heat until I entered this room, but it's not. After noticing Yugito's red face and glossed eyes, the Raikage remarked, "I see I am the Raikage of Kumo and you are." At this point, Ichigo had sat down, was grinning at the performance, and remarked, "That would be my nephew Naruto, but I am sure you already knew that." The Raikage replied, "I knew you had a nephew from what I was told, but I did not know what he looked like." And he believed, "The kid reminds me of his uncle, brash, rude, and doesn't take shit." Ichigo replied, "So what is it you wanted to see us about to come all the way here?" "Yes." The Raikage replied, "I decided to look into what would catch your attention outside of the country because of your recent listings in the bingo book, and once I have that information, I would like to come meet the incredible person I have heard about. I've heard of several names, including the Hope of Suna, the Strength of Tea, the Knight of Spring, and the Hero of Wave." Before anyone could respond, Naruto was confronted by a tiny orange toad that exclaimed, "Yo!" Naruto inquired, "What's up, Gamakichi?" "They're ready and want to know where to have them appear," Gamakichi stated. After glancing at his uncle, who nodded, Naruto said, "Follow me," and left the room. "Is there something wrong?" the Raikage inquired. "Something like that," Ichigo said. He stood up and started to leave the room, saying, "Why don't you come with us and see for yourself?" As the Raikage began to follow more slowly, Yugito moved to his side and remarked, "Well done, express gratitude to Nibi." According to Yugito, he doesn't appear to be much. That's why I asked you and Nibi to try to irritate him enough to fight him. The Raikage said I want to see if he is as adept at controlling Kyuubi chakra as you or my brother are. As they entered the courtyard, Yugito remarked, I understand and I will get him to fight me. Naruto was standing in the clearing when he put the toad down, bit his thumb, and started to flash through hand signals, saying, Kachiyose no Jutsu. As his hand struck the ground, a small toad appeared, and it grew larger and larger until it was more than 2 stories tall and it opened its mouth. When it did, Jiraiya was the first person to leave. He then noticed Tsunade and remarked, so this is your vacation home, Haim. Not bad. He glanced back and briefly caught sight of Naruto, who nodded slowly and said, all right, come on out, ride's over. With the exception of the Hyuga, Naruto was standing next to the tall toad when he saw Ayame and her father, followed by Iruka and the rookie 9. Minus Sasuke and Hinata. It turns out that Neji and a small girl were present. When Hinata saw those two, she said without flinching, Neji, Hanabi, is that really you? A number of people were shocked to see Hinata so confident, and Neji responded, yes, Hinata-sama. Hiyashi-sama sends his best wishes and would have visited himself, but he has taken the rest of the clan and left Konoha to wait for things to calm down there before deciding what to do. This is due to the law that Jiraiya-sama passed. To be safe, he sent your sister and me here to Kumo, Kumo said indignantly. As more and more people emerged, Naruto watched Asuma and Konohamaru leave and paused to survey the area. When they turned to face him, Konohamaru began to speak, but Asuma covered his mouth with his hand and whispered in his ear. Asuma approached and said, Naruto, is there any place you and I can talk privately? After Konohamaru nodded, you should be aware of some new information that has surfaced. It seems that you have other living relatives. With wide eyes, Naruto questioned, are you kidding me, Smokestack? No, Naruto, Asuma said with a laugh. Dad seems to have concealed this information from everyone, including your family. Can we have a conversation? As he put his hands on Asuma's shoulder and walked away in a flurry of leaves, shocking a number of people who were staring at Tsunade, Naruto nodded and said, sure. When Jiraiya approached and Tsunade narrowed her eyes, she questioned, what was that about Jiraiya? Tsunade, Jiraiya said, swallowing until yesterday, only Danzo and I were aware of something that Sensei had kept hidden from practically everyone. What does this have to do with my nephew? Ichigo inquired. Yugito whispered back to the Raikage, who was a short distance away, what she was hearing. Ichigo and Tsunade both widened their eyes when Jiraiya gulped and said, Minato Namikaze, Naruto father was the son of Hiruzen Sarutobi and Tuka Senju. With a menacing snarl, Tsunade uttered, this had better be a joke, Jiraiya. Jiraiya replied, it's not. The Nidaime arranged it after Nawaki death. The Nidaime wanted another male Senju to carry on your clan's name, but he himself was unable to have children, so he contacted Sensei and said he would support Sensei as the next Hokage if he would agree to father a child with your mother. After the Nidaime died and your mother passed away in childbirth, he could not legally claim Minato without destroying the Senju and the Sarutobi clan as well as the village. According to Tsunade, so Naruto is as my nephew. After Jiraiya nods, Tsunade adds, and you knew this. Tsunade slammed her fist into his face, sending him over the castle walls as Jiraiya nodded and gulped. After receiving the information, the Raikage's eyes widened, and he thought, note to self, don't piss her off. At that moment, a sense of dread swept through the castle, and Naruto emerged in a whirl of flames. Entirely encased in red chakra, he exclaimed, where is Jiraiya? As 2 tails of chakra floated behind him. When Naruto and Asuma arrived in his room a short while ago, he sat down and inquired, so who are they? After inhaling deeply, Asuma uttered, I want you to know, Naruto, that I only found out yesterday, okay? Naruto gives a confused nod and Asuma replied, well, I was told that your father the Yondaime, and yes, I knew that, and it was one of the reasons I left Konoha to join the Fire Temple Guards, because I did not agree with keeping the secret of your parents from you with everything you had to deal with. But that is now what I was going to say. It turns out that Minato mother was named Tuka Senju, who was Tsunade mother, and his father was none other dad. With wide eyes, Naruto exclaimed, so that means that you're mine. Asuma replied, that means I am your uncle. Tsunade is your aunt and Konohamaru is your cousin. If I had known Naruto, I would have kidnapped you myself and hidden you away from Konoha. With his gaze fixed downward, Naruto questioned, do you? When Naruto started crying, Asuma got up and gave him a hug. After a few minutes, when he had had time to collect himself, he asked, how did you find out? Asuma replied, well, the Nidaime was the one who arranged for your dad to be born. He could not have kids, so he never married, and Tsunade's brother had passed away at this point, and Tsunade was out of the village most of the time, so he offered the job of Hokage to dad if he would father a child with Tsunade's mom. He agreed, but the Nidaime was killed a few weeks later and Tsunade's mom passed away giving birth to your dad, and dad couldn't have adopted him without making the Senju and Sarutobi clans look bad. Besides dad, the only two people who knew the truth after that was Danzo, who used the info to make himself more powerful in the village, and Jiraiya, who told all of us yesterday. So Ero-Sani knew all the time not only who dad was but who the rest of my family was, and that I had family that wanted me, and he told who knows how many people about it yesterday, but he could not tell me, Naruto said, biting his lip and looking down as he started to shake with rage. When he noticed a tail forming behind Naruto, Asuma said, "Calm down Naruto, Naruto, calm down." He could feel the Kyuubi chakra beginning to overwhelm Naruto. As he shushed away, the Kyuubi chakra caused his red eyes to turn into a swirl of flames. Naruto said, calm down, how the hell can I calm down right now?" Finish the flashback when Yugito asked, "Why do you want to know, kid?" The Raikage nudged his shoulder, drawing everyone's attention. The Raikage and a few others glared at them. With his eyes darting around, Naruto uttered, "My godfather, and I need to have a long chat now. Where is he?" Yugito replied, "You want to know where he is? Calm down then before I make you." Naruto yelled, "Listen here, kitty, I am calm right now, and unless you want me to spay you, beat the fuck out of you and tie you in a sack and throw your ass in the sea out back so you can have a good bath to get rid of that tuna smell, then you better mind your own business. My godfather and I are going to talk, and he is going to tell me exactly why he can tell an entire village about my relatives, but he can't tell me and leaves me to suffer while he pays $2 for a hooker now, unless you're one of his cheap hookers, and in that case I say find another John, back off pussy." Everyone was taken aback by Naruto's words, and Yugito started to tremble in anger. A whirlpool of flames then materialized next to Naruto, and Kyuubi, who had taken on the human form with ears and tails, put her arms around Naruto and uttered the words, "Calm down, kid." Naruto stated, "Kyuubi, stay out of this. That man is going to answer my questions either by choice or by force. At this point I don't care which. I don't want to fight anyone, but I am sick and tired of being lied to, shit upon and beat down. Everyone who means anything to me is hurt because of it, and I want for once a fucking answer why." Kyuubi breathed a sigh of relief and replied, "Fine, just don't do something you will regret." Tsunade sent him over the walls just after she told him via her right hook and Raikage. "No one else might have noticed, but I sure the hell did. I know you got the kitty here trying to pick a fight with the boy here to see how much control he has over my chakra, so test away, but don't come crying to me when he beats her." As she walked over to Haku and sat down. Yugito was clenching her teeth at the moment, thinking, this boy is dead, he is so fucking dead. When Yugito leapt into the air, kicking Naruto in the back and sending him flying to the ground below, Naruto turned and leapt into the air to jump over the wall that Kyuubi had indicated. With a growl, Naruto said, "What the fuck your problem?" as he flipped and landed on his feet, sliding backwards. With two tails forming around her and purple chakra exploding off her body, Yugito said, Problem, do I look like I have a problem?" As Yugito attempted to claw him, Naruto smirked and got to his feet, saying, "Aside from the fact that your PMs smell like tuna, and haven't been fed today, then no, you don't have a problem. I can't help you with the first two, but I can help you with the last one. Let me get some food. Come on, kitty. Chow here, kitty." As he ducked to the left after that, she vanished as Junin leveled up, and to everyone's surprise a Euro. Except for those who had been traveling with him, a Euro. Naruto joined him. They then started exchanging blows and slashing their claws, which caused wounds to open and heal rapidly. As they engaged in combat, a gold shield materialized around them, forming a cube. 4 kunai were visible in the ground, and Jiraiya was standing nearby, his arms folded, peering inside the cube. After both fighters saw the shield inside the cube, Naruto remarked, "Looks like we can go all out, kitten." As she started to go through hand signals, Yugito said, "I don't care anymore, I am going to kill you." She then said, "Raiden. Lion charge." A lion formed out of lighting and charged at Naruto. After vanishing from view, Naruto reappeared behind Yugito, brandishing his sword at her throat and uttering the words, "Yield." After grinning, Yugito remarked, "You think I am going to yield to you?" As Yugito's body exploded into lightning, forcing Naruto to leap back, he witnessed Yugito forming a sword out of lightning. Naruto then held his hand out to the side as he started to form a Rasengan with a mixture of Kyuubi chakra. Both Yugito's and Naruto's charges were greeted by cries of "Sword Lightning Rasengan." Jiraiya watched in horror as a ball of white chakra formed as a result of the two attacks. He saw cracks start to appear in the shield, and when the ball exploded, destroying it, Yugito and Naruto, whose clothes were all but destroyed, were kicking, punching, slashing, biting, and pulling hair like two untamed animals. Kyuubi appeared in the middle of them, grabbed them by the neck, lifted them into the air, and slammed them both face first into the ground as they both started to get covered in blood. This made them even more insane. Naruto's chakra cloak vanished as soon as they both hit the ground, and Yugito's did as well. After Kyuubi released them, Naruto turned to face Jiraiya and questioned, "Why?" After scowling, Jiraiya remarked, "Because sensei asked me to." Naruto pursed his lips and said, "And how many times have women asked you to not peek on them? How many times has Tsunade asked you not to look at her chest? How many times were you asked to be Hokage that you turned down? If you don't listen to any of those people, then why listen to him? Why make me suffer? Is it that I remind you so much of Dad that you can't stand the sight of me, or is it that you actually see me as Kyuubi? Well, there she is. Do I look like her? Well, here, maybe this will help you." As he demonstrated how he really earned a few gasps as he got up and left the castle, leaving a stunned crowd behind, Naruto said, "Well, fuck you then. No wonder Tsunade chose Orochimaru over you as genin. At least with him she knew she would be fucked over." He had noticed Jiraiya turn away. "He's right, Jiraiya, you never listened to anyone else, including Sensei, all these years when you didn't want to, so why is it that never told him or me?" Tsunade said, glancing at Jiraiya after he had left. "According to Jiraiya, because he was his grandfather." Tsunade continued, "And you're his grandmother and I am his aunt. Asuma is his uncle, so why not tell any of us? You and I both read the reports about what happened to him as a child and what Konoha did to him. All the assassination attempts, the beatings, the abuse, the way people tried to weaken him by making him an outcast for something he never even had a choice on. So why? Is he right? Do you really just see him as the Kyuubi, or is it that he reminds you of Minato, or is it that since he doesn't have a pussy that you don't want to go near him? He told me how he got you to train him in the first place by turning himself into a naked woman. If he hadn't have done that, would you still have trained him or abandoned him like Kakashi did?" Jiraiya glanced at her and said, "He was safer in Konoha than he would have been with either you or me. I had my duty to the village that you abandoned. I may have not been there, but at least I was making it where his only enemies were from inside instead of outside. You were too busy gambling and being a drunk to care for yourself, much less him." Following his departure from Tsunade, Ki exclaimed, "You, me, outside the walls now. That's everything I have on Akatsuki and their plans to capture the Biju and the Jinchuriki until both blondes can calm down. I got research to do," Jiraiya said, shushing away as he produced a scroll and tossed it to Shizune. Tsunade screamed in rage and wanted to destroy something until she caught a glimpse of Naruto sitting on a balcony. Her anger subsided when she asked, "Are you okay?" which caused everyone who had been shocked by what they had heard and seen to turn to face Tsunade. As he entered and shut the door, Naruto gave her a look and remarked, "I'm used to it." "What is going to happen now?" Kiba asked as Tsunade closed her eyes and wiped a tear from her cheek before turning to face everyone. "I want to say sorry for what you all saw earlier. It's just that to find out the truth about having family alive was unexpected," Tsunade said. Sume made a number of people wide-eyed and turned to face the two blushing girls when he said, "We understand that all Tsunade and none of us judge you or the kid, though what is with his look and why does his scent come from both Hiyashi daughter and that girl right there, and are you really the Kyuubi?" Kyuubi laughed and replied, "Well, the girls are both his mates like I am, though he has yet to fully claim me, and yes, I am the Kyuubi no Kitsune." With some rage in his voice, Inoichi questioned, "How are you free and why did you attack our village?" Kyuubi replied, "Uchiha Madara, he is still alive somehow and used his Sharingan to control me like he has in the past when he had me attack the Shodem Hokage. That was why I attacked your village. As for how I am free, I am not exactly free, but I got a little bigger prison now. In exchange for saving the life of the kid's mate there, he allowed me a special clone body with 1 tail worth of chakra to use when he allows me to, though I only can come out for a short period to stretch my legs and then I have to return to the seal. In fact, I need to return now since I am getting weaker since he has passed out now from emotional strain and using so much of my chakra, though I am surprised he fully controlled the second tail of chakra when he fought the Uchiha. He only could just barely control it." Hana responded, "Then why at the end did both him and that girl there start acting like animals?" As she vanished, covered in red flames, Kyuubi laughed and remarked, "You should know better than anyone. His new bloodline makes him like your bloodline with a few bonuses, but what you just saw was called bloodlust. It's the first time the kids ever had it, though you can explain it." "What is bloodlust?" Ayame asked, glancing at Hana. Sume let out a sigh. Bloodlust is a condition that is triggered during times of increased adrenaline and strong negative emotions like hate and anger. It makes it where you have an increase in speed and strength and can you ignore damage to yourself, but you lose the ability to use higher level attacks like jutsu, and it's not until you are either defeated or see the blood of your enemy who has given up fighting that you gain back control. Since Kyuubi said it's the first time he ever experienced it, I am actually surprised that the fighting stopped as easily as it did. Yugito replied, you forgot to mention the other time bloodlust happens. Sume replied, I know and I don't like talking about that, but since that is exactly what you were trying to do, you can explain it, with an angry smirk. Ino inquired, what do you mean Sume-sama? What was she trying to do then, to see how strong Naruto was because Raikage-sama ordered her to? Yugito stated, since the Nibi no Neko is sealed inside of me, I am also a more feral type of person, and as such I only want the strongest type of maid I can get for stronger children. I wanted to prove myself to him to take me as a maid. I also wanted to knock his teeth down his throat for treating me like a cat instead of a person. Haku responded, then you screwed up from the beginning. Naruto would have only had me as his only mate if Kyuubi hadn't have tricked him into giving her a mate mark first before saving my life by lying about what it was, and then Hinata here earned her place for her years of devotion to him from the shadows and proving to me and Naruto that she would do anything to be by his side, not behind him like a servant or above him like he's beneath her, but beside him. Naruto is the type of person who would sacrifice his life to see those he cares for safe and happy. He doesn't care about strength or power or prestige or money. He only cares about being treated as an equal and being happy. That is it. Sakura asked, who are you? I know I saw you somewhere before, but I can't remember, as she turned to face Haku. As the water in the fountain rose out of the water and formed ice senbons that attacked and destroyed a training dummy, Haku said, remember the bridge? I told the Uchiha I had two advantages over him. One, we were surrounded by water, and the other, I had one of his hands occupied. She then started making one-handed signs and stomped her foot. Sakura was pale and said, but, you're dead. I saw your body on the ground after Kakashi-sensei used the Chidori on you. Everyone was staring at them. As an ice mirror formed behind her, Haku rubbed her hand across her heart and said, yeah, I still have the scar now, if you will excuse me, but I need to see Naruto-kun. She then walked into the mirror and vanished. When she left, everyone turned to look around. Kurenai asked, where are you going, Hinata? As she was slowly leaving. Sorry Kurenai-sensei, I was just going to check on Naruto-kun also, Hinata said with an eep. Kurenai replied, I see you're not stuttering anymore. Hinata, what's changed? Tsunade remarked, looks like your new bloodlines are activating. Hinata, I wonder how long it will take Kyuubi to give the Byakugan to both Haku and Naruto. I still need to give him grandfather's bloodline more than ever since it's his birthright. Hinata blushed and said, I am happy. Her breath started to mist, and she sniffed multiple times before sneezing and revealing her fox ears and tail, which caused everyone's eyes to widen. Hinata slipped away while everyone was staring at Tsunade. Ino responded, Tsunade-sama, I have a question. If Naruto father was the son of your mother and the Sandame, then is he related to the Shodame and the Nidame? Tsunade took a deep breath and replied, normally that answer would be no, but the Senju clan was actually similar to the Hyuga clan. In a way we had a main branch and several sub-branch, but we never enslaved the second branch. My mother was from one of the sub-branches that was married to the main branch several times over. Actually, now that I think about it, my mother was Inoichi aunt, causing a number of individuals to gasp. As Inoichi put it, what? Tsunade laughed and replied, think about it Inoichi, my father had brown hair like his father, so I had to get my blonde hair from somewhere, and since Sensei had brown hair and since Minato was a blonde like Naruto, they had to get it from my mother. My mother was your father's sister, so I guess that makes us cousins, as would Minato, so Naruto would be your second cousin and Ino third cousin. But how is my clan a sub-clan of the Senju clan? Inquired Inoichi. After many moments of reflection, Tsunade said, let me see if I can remember it right. I know your clan was originally from Grass Country, I believe. Inoichi nods as Tsunade responds, well, I want to say that the Uchiha clan was hired by a clan called the Fierce Clan, one that your clan was at war with. After giving it some thought, Inoichi remarked, yeah, I think I remember hearing about that about 200 years ago, right? Tsunade said, yeah, the Uchiha clan had a policy of destruction or enslavement of their enemies back then. If they couldn't make you a slave, then they destroyed you. As their main rival, we offered protection to all those who hired our clan, and as a sign of trust, we would have a member of our clan marry a member of whatever clan joined us to show that way we are not enslaving those who were under our protection, and also allowed the sub-branches to have a voice of power in the main branch. I know that was how you originally joined the Senju clan. Now you asked how was Naruto actually related to my grandfather. That one is actually a little harder to explain. The Senju clan was originally formed by 5 clans joining together to make it to survive: the Sarutobi clan, Ichani clan, Nara clan, Juryusa clan and the Uzumaki clans. Those 5 clans were originally had got together to fight the Uchiha clan. The new clan those formed together was called the Senju clan. Before they had time to decide who would be leader, the Juryusa clan was destroyed by the Uchiha clan. When Konoha was about to be created, the Uzumaki family left and went to Whirlpool until it was destroyed. The Nara and Sarutobi clans both reformed themselves, and my grandfather and granduncle kept the agreed upon name as a sign of faith and trust in those who had joined it. After that, the 4 remaining clans had a son of the Sarutobi clan and a daughter of the Nara clan, an Uzumaki daughter, and a Nara son. These 4 became the head of the Senju clan, ruling it for the next 40 years until a son of the first pair and a daughter of the second pair were married and had 2 children, Hashirama and Tobarama Senju, the Shodem and Naidame. Yeah, Ichigo replied, I think that was right. Shikaku responded, so you're saying that Naruto is related to the Nara clan, the Senju clan, the Yamanaka clan, and the Sarutobi clan. If you knew all of this, why are you so upset with Jiraiya when you were just as guilty? Tsunade made a sign and stated, the reason is I had heard about Whirlpool being destroyed and I had thought all the Uzumaki family had been destroyed. Then when I heard the name Uzumaki again, when I heard about Kyuubi being put inside of Naruto, I believed Sensei announcement that he chose the name Uzumaki at random. I thought it was his way of honoring the original alliance that was formed to make the Senju clan. I had no idea that he was an actual Uzumaki, and the few times I wondered if he might have actually been a real Uzumaki. When I heard Jiraiya mention Kushina Uzumaki, I thought that he was probably some very distant relation that wasn't related to me. I had no idea he was so closely related. If I may ask Tsunade, what exactly do you and all these people here plan to do in Kumo? The Raikage said as he approached. Tsunade scowled and noticed that a number of people were staring at her when a voice said, before Tsunade answered, that I have a question for you. This caused everyone to turn and watch Naruto return outside, accompanied by Hinata and Haku, who had both let go of their ears and tails. Shouldn't you be listening to the Hokage's orders? The Raikage asked. Naruto looked at him with a smirk and, you don't really know me that well, do you? I may have been pissed earlier when I heard that I had family and was denied it because Jiraiya was too busy getting his rocks blown, but that does not mean I am some mindless idiot who lets others decide my life for me. Now you can answer my questions or you can get the fuck out of my uncle's castle. Raising his ki slightly, the Raikage uttered the words, you dare threaten me. Naruto grumbles and responds, please. I felt worse ki then that from Zabuza, and I faced Orochimaru and Shukaku since then, and both were a hell of a lot more scarier than you. According to the Raikage, big words when you have an entire army here to defend you. Naruto replied, is that what you think? I need an army to defeat you? I already defeated you by figuring out how to defeat a Kage worst enemy, paperwork, and yet you think that you're better than me? How long have you been a Kage? Glaring at Naruto, the Raikage uttered the words, fine boy, what do you want? What is it you want from me and those here? Asked Naruto with a smile. The Raikage stated, I came here to offer you a proposal to join my village for you and your team, but I was already on my way here when I received a message about what happened in Konoha yesterday. I had no way of knowing that all these people were going to be here. Naruto replied, and what do you have to offer us to join you that we can't get somewhere else? Why should I trust your village when you have already attempted to kidnap one of my mates in the past? What is it you want? The Raikage questioned. Naruto glanced at the crowd and said, 3 days. Return in 3 days and allow me and my friends and family to discuss what we want. When you return, we will have a negotiation then as to where we will go from here. During that time, if you or any of your men attempt to harass any of my precious people, you will find out. I may not be strong enough to kill you or your men, but I can sure the hell try, and I promise that it will be a fight that you will remember. Your nephew is a lot like you, Ichigo-sama. He doesn't take shit off of anyone. I will return in 3 days to negotiate. Yugito, come. The Raikage said, after glancing at Naruto for a few moments. Everyone, including Haku and Hinata, was shocked when Naruto vanished in smoke. Everyone's attention was drawn to Hinata when she activated her Byakugan and, after searching for a few minutes, declared, I found him. Where is he? Ichigo inquired. Hinata replied, he's laying down out on the sea behind the castle about a mile out. He training, sir, with his Kage Bunshin, but. As Haku put it, but what? According to Hinata, who bit her lip, he has hanged his Kage Bunshin to look like the Sandaime Hokage and Jiraiya, and he's crying. Clutching her fist, Tsunade remarked, I see, I will go talk with him. Everyone turned to look at Ichigo when he said, no, you're not. Narrowing her eyes, Tsunade questioned, and why the hell not? Ichigo glanced at the individuals standing behind Tsunade. Since Jiraiya is gone, you are the highest ranking Konoha nin here, so it is your responsibility to deal with them. Naruto won't go far, but he needs time to himself. For now you need to use the 3 days he gave you to figure out what you got planned to do, because sooner or later Akatsuki is going to come for my nephew and you have a duty to his precious people also. As she started to guide them to their current sleeping location, Tsunade scowled and remarked, "You're right, all right. Everyone, let's get you settled in and then we can discuss what to do after that. Follow me." While out on the water, Naruto heard footsteps and turned to see Ichigo approaching. He sighed and remarked, "So you found me?" Ichigo replied, "Hinata actually did, and several people wanted to come talk to you, but I stopped them since they have to figure out what to do now. Also, you needed time to think to yourself." "Yeah," said Naruto in a lifeless tone. Ichigo said, "Come," as he continued to walk past Naruto on the water. After blinking, Naruto stood up and started to follow his uncle as he left the castle. 5 minutes later, Ichigo walked to the miniature island and gestured for Naruto to follow him when a tiny patch of land, about 5 feet wide, appeared in the middle of the water. Ichigo remarked, "Are you going to let the actions of idiots hurt you and your precious people?" as Naruto entered the island. Ichigo's statement, "All those people back at the castle left their homes because they care for you," interrupted Naruto as he began to speak to prove to you that they do. "They will stop at nothing. Would you be prepared to help them in the same way?" "Yes, of course I would," Naruto replied. Ichigo replied, "Would you be willing to start a new home away from Konoha and protect it with your life?" Naruto replied, "If it was where my precious people are, then yes." Ichigo nods and says, "I'd like to practice jutsu with you as I call out the hand signs. Close your eyes and perform them, allowing your chakra to just wait for me to tell you to stop or open your eyes. Would you please do this for me?" As Naruto put it, "What is the jutsu, nephew? I need you to believe in me." Ichigo said, "I am unable to identify it, but you and your valued individuals require it. Will you do it?" As Naruto put it, "Very well." Ichigo started calling out hand signals as he performed them himself, saying, "Good, now close your eyes. Good, now start with Habi, bird." After 200 hand signals, Ichigo told them to repeat after me, "Whirlpool no jutsu." Naruto felt his chakra being rapidly depleted and uttered, "Whirlpool no jutsu." After roughly 3 minutes, the sound of the water shifting and falling stopped, but Ichigo said, "Open your eyes," as the sound of the water dripping onto the ground continued. When Naruto opened his eyes, he gasped and exclaimed, "What the hell?" He was standing atop a massive tower, surrounded by a 2-mile-wide island with a whole stone village encircling it. He said, "Welcome to the village of Whirlpool. I might have forgotten to mention that I was one of the advisors to the Rasenkage of Whirlpool also before I became the feudal lord," Naruto said, turning to face his uncle, who grinned. "The Rasenkage gave our people instructions to disperse throughout the world and hide until Whirlpool could be restored in order to save our people. She was always fiercely protective of her beloved people." With a blink, Naruto uttered, "Mom was the Rasenkage." The Kyudame Rasenkage, Ichigo said, the Uzumaki family had always owned Whirlpool country, and after we returned here and assisted in the formation of the Senju clan, we constructed this village. Now, take a look at the water. After doing so, Naruto exclaimed, It's got a whirlpool around the village. That is our ancestors' natural defense around this village," Ichigo stated. "Up until the Rain and Iwa tag-teamed our village, it kept us safe. In order for the Rain ninjas to use exploding Senbon umbrellas on our village, Iwa formed bridges to the island using Earth Jutsu. In order to halt their attacks, I had Kumo assist Whirlpool, but this led to the Second Great Shinobi War. I helped Kushina use the Whirlpool no Jutsu to sink the island so that our secrets could not be stolen after she gave the order for our people to disperse throughout the world." As he held out a hiat with an Uzumaki spiral on it, he asked, "Do you think your precious people would like to become Whirlpool nins?" Naruto looked at it, took the hiat, then removed the one on his head and remarked, Who will be the Rasenkage?" Ichigo replied, "That would be up to you and your precious people to decide." After giving it some consideration, Naruto remarked, "You were planning this all along, weren't you?" "No," Ichigo replied, "I'm just giving you an option. It is up to you to decide. I just want to do everything in my power to support my nephew Iroh. That's what family does." "Let's go talk to the others," said Naruto, closing his eyes. Ichigo responds with a nod. "It will take longer to get back because the bridge that connects Whirlpool to the main land is 2 miles south of the castle and neither of us have the chakra or control to run across that water for long." As he leapt from the roof to the next, Naruto yelled, "Right, race you!" Ichigo grinned and scampered to the village gates, where he scowled and continued to run while Ichigo laughed and ran next to him. After about 20 minutes, they returned to the castle and Naruto chuckled and remarked, "Beat you, uncle." In an attempt to catch his breath, Ichigo coughed and uttered the words, "I'm not as young as I used to be, brat." When they entered the main dining hall, they noticed that everyone was there. Naruto was grinning, which made a number of people happy, but they weren't sure why. Naruto then asked, "Hey, have you all decided what to do yet?" "No brat, we haven't," Tsunade, who had a vein on her head, said. "All I've been doing is catching up on Konoha's current events." As he threw the Hiad to Tsunade, who caught it and blinked upon seeing the Whirlpool insignia, Naruto smirked at his uncle and said, "Good, then I have another option for everyone here." Tsunade narrowed her eyes and asked, "What's this brat?" Ichigo declared, "The hidden Whirlpool village has been brought back to life by Naruto and me." The village behind this castle was sunk to the sea using the Whirlpool no Jutsu by the Rasenkage and me, and it has been restored exactly as it was. The Rasenkage's last directive was for Whirlpool citizens to disperse throughout the world and hold off on coming back until it was safe to do so. He glanced at Naruto and said, "I think it might be a good time to do so, the Kyudaime Rasenkage-san and I." "Kushina was the Rasenkage," Tsunade said, blinking. I believed her to be merely Chunin. Ichigo crossed his arms and remarked, "What better way to hide than to keep her real skills hidden?" "What do you all think?" asked Naruto. "Actually, I haven't said yes or no since we must choose what is best for us. We simply lifted the village out of the ocean to give ourselves the choice." As Tsunade surveyed the area, Sume remarked, "I think we should check this village out, Tsunade, at least to know where we stand." When Tsunade realized that everyone agreed with her, she exclaimed, "Very well, lead the way, brat." Grinning, Naruto started guiding them all to the secret Whirlpool village.
So that's it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to the channel for more awesome stories like this. Thank you. See you all in my next video.